Hi there, everyone. This is your Blackboard learning platform tutorial walkthrough. So, yeah, if you've taken a Blackboard online course before, this will be pretty straightforward, but it might give you a little bit more direction and clarity as far as where to find course content and where to navigate to. If you've never taken a Blackboard learning course before, this will be really important for you to listen and probably revisit a couple of times as you get started in the first couple of weeks of the course. Okay. This might be a little quick, but the idea is you can come back, rewind, rewatch, that sort of thing as you need to. But the idea is just give you a general overview of what the platform looks like, and again, where to find all your content that you need. So first up, again, we're going to just visit this left-hand column and the home page to start. So this is your landing page of announcements. Now, the great thing about the announcements is they'll get emailed to you, to your student UFE emails. So if you aren't getting them there, or if you have them blocked or going to junk mail, I would change that right away, because any content updates, any test or exam updates, or logistics as far as classes, meetup times, due dates, all of that, it's all going to show up here on the announcements. And definitely reserve the right to make any changes to the syllabus at any moment. You'll definitely be communicated that, though, through the announcements in your email. So definitely revisit this on a regular basis, so that if you ever need to get back to this page, you can always just go to the announcements on the left-hand column here. Next up, you have course content. So clicking on that brings you to all your learning modules. So ideally, you're going to be visiting here weekly and quite regularly. You will have access to, say, the course syllabus, guidelines, etc. here. Schedule, assignment guidelines are going to be posted here too. So as you revisit this, check in. These won't be updated necessarily, like the syllabi. They'll be done through the announcement, but you can definitely have access to this. And the course syllabus will be a really good resource as far as knowing policies and any rules or expectations that are going to be set for this course. So that's a good reference there. But let's dive into the learning modules here. Again, this is an old class that I have done. Our exact layout might be a little different for this particular course, but regardless, it'll be somewhat of a similar format, I suspect. So week 1 learning module. Typically, we started off with a lesson overview, so that gave you where to focus on in the chapter, some activities to do. You could find your associated PowerPoints here. Also, any extra videos, articles to read, or in this particular case, there's a practice quiz that you could go to. So again, this is all in a learning module for week 1, which we could always navigate back to by hitting course content. Sure enough, here's all our learning modules again. Perfect. Next up is our discussion. So discussions will be occurring as far as any activities we do. You're going to be expected to post at the very least something reflective, if not part of the exercise itself, and you'll be expected to engage in a discussion with your peers. So when you're engaging in the discussion, I highly encourage you to ask probing questions rather than just supportive, yeah, me too's. If that's the case, that's great. Please reply as such. But the idea is to stimulate a discussion and something where you can reply to. So you will notice under the discussion board, aside from, say, a weekly discussion that will appear and disappear week to week, the discussions wrap up on Sundays. So if you want participation points, you need to contribute by then. That includes your replies, okay? Aside from that, you should notice some area or areas for questions, and I really need to and want to encourage use of these. Lots of benefit for both you and your peers this way. If you post a question about an assignment, so for example, hey, I was wondering what sort of font we were supposed to use on our paper. If you pose that within the assignments question area, forum, or thread, you're likely to be able to have a peer answer you maybe a lot quicker, because there's more of you that will be online at various times than myself. So they might be able to get back to you sooner and be like, oh, it says on the guidelines 12 point. Perfect. You just got your answer a lot quicker. Your other peers that are also searching for that information will be able to find it there as well. So again, try to use the question forums more readily than, say, emailing me. If you're really stuck on an answer, or it's personal, or a very individual kind of basis kind of question, of course, send me an email. I'll be happy to get back to you as quick as I can. But again, this is a really good resource. And again, the weekly discussions open and shut week to week. Okay. Aside from discussions, we're on to assignments and tests. This might also be titled quizzes and exams, or something of that nature. The idea is you'll be able to find your week-to-week quizzes here. Again, they appear and disappear week to week as they're available. Quizzes end on Sunday at midnight. So for that week in that learning module, you'll need to ensure that you've answered the quiz and submitted it before midnight. So that doesn't mean starting it at 11:59 and trying to submit at 12:02 or something like that. So give yourself time. Try to complete it as early as you can. Okay. Final exams will often be posted here as well if they're online. And there's typically some instructions once you click on the link that will explain a little bit more detail about the quiz and or the exam at that point in time. Turn it in. So when you click on this, I think it takes you to an external link. Yeah, right. And so Turn It In is just an online form where you can submit your work if you haven't used it before. You'll definitely need to create an account. And the other thing is there's going to be information as far as course code and a password for this section. So look for that in your course syllabus or potentially on the assignment guideline as well. Should be there, okay? Moving down, groups. So there's going to be some group work. Okay, good. I was worried that there might be the old groups here, but you'll have a group in your group peers and emails and stuff here. So if you have a group presentation or group activities, etc., I usually have a randomized group selected for here for you. And this is where you get their contact information. So if you see that one of these assignments, you're supposed to do something with more than one person in a particular group, you go, oh no, where do I find it? It's just right here. So you should find it here. You'll get your group listed and your peers and emails and contact information in this location. Course messages. You might see that available. If you choose to communicate with your groups through that, that's fine. I typically don't check it. So if you're trying to get a hold of me, I'd highly suggest to email me, as I don't really check Blackboard messages. And My Grades. So when you click on My Grades, it'll show you a whole potentially list of grades coming up for yourself. Or conversely, it might just have the marks that have come in so far for you. I've had some students that have had concerns over what it means for their final grade as we're going through the course. And it might be a little difficult to calculate the exact final grade if you just try to take all the raw scores. So try to remember that different parts of your grade are weighted differently, and really what it's there for is to get a general idea of how you're doing on each section, so you have some feedback as you're going through the course. For example, participation grades week to week, activity grades, unit quizzes, etc. And to make sure that, say, your assignment grades are entered correctly. So, if I submit something back to you and it's 15 out of 20, and on the assignment I gave you, it's actually 16 out of 20, let me know and I'll get the mark changed right away. Okay. And that's essentially the main run through for that. So hopefully that gives you a little familiarity with Blackboard Online, and gives you a good idea where to start. Okay.